had a change of administration, but the federal judges say, no, you didn't. We are still in control. In the same way that John McCain and John Kerry think that they're still in control. So he's still conducting foreign policy with the Iranians. I find that absolutely amazing. But beyond that, what other effects is this going to have on the United States? As it appears that by Friday, which is the 12th, we will have a decision by that day or earlier as to whether or not we're going to stay in this Iranian accord. If we get out of the Iranian
Hello, what's up everybody? Starting a live stream today. I'm gonna go ahead and try and play all day today, because my all my videos so far I've cut off quickly because I wanted to go to bed or something happened or one of my friends would come over or something. So I'm gonna try and play all day today. I'm still trying to get to level 30, and I'm still trying to get my guy up a little bit better, more level wise, because I like to play player versus player, but everybody who plays player versus player is level 30 or more.
Forensic toxicology report.
They fuck you up.
One prick from this rose and we'd need to call the coroner.
They fuck you up. And yeah, if anybody wants to play with me, you're more than welcome to. Just leave your...
Fight Poison Ivy's control! Stop! Whack these weeds before they hit us! Fight Poison Ivy's control! Stop! Whack these weeds before they hit us!
Shoot! Damn it. This mission is from Poison Ivy. I started it on my last stream. What the fuck, man? Did he really freeze? God damn it. He froze. Shit. Ooh, that's not good. Alright. Sorry, still trying to get my shit together here. Nobody's watching yet anyway. But yeah, I just mess around, try to do missions that I can do. A lot of the missions are level 30 stuff. I'm level 28. And you'd think, oh, you know, level 30 should be nothing, but really? My guy sucks too. I'm not very good at this game. I don't know all the fucking journal shit. All this shit, I don't know. I don't know about any of this. I don't know what the fuck it is. I just sell all of it. I mean, I bet I get some cool shit, but yeah. I just click on shit and mess around with it. And then when I'm not playing with people, I like to God damn it. Why won't this work? Guess I gotta restart my phone again. Jesus Christ. I should have been more prepared before I started the broadcast. I'm gonna be playing some Alex Jones for you guys today. A lot of people don't like him and a lot of people love him, so I kind of like him. I don't agree with everything he says, but What the fuck happened to all my stats and shit? There we go.
I'm yours. Do what you will. You'll never defeat the plants. Ivy, Ivy, I'm yours to command. Smells like heaven. Ivy, Ivy. Ivy, Ivy, I'm yours to command. Ivy, I'm yours. Do what smells like heaven. Ivy. Ivy.
Fuck, man. My shit.
Smells like heaven. Ivy. Ivy. Ivy.
Statues had
I'm
to do with the
yours.
Confederacy. And as I pointed out, Abraham Lincoln ran on a policy of
Ivy.
recognizing state slavery.
Ivy.
And you had
I'm
Confederate
yours
generals
to
who
command.
freed, like Stonewall Jackson, educated black children and
Smells
adults
like
to read,
heaven.
freed slaves and so forth. It's not
Ivy.
that clear cut as Nikki Haley would have you
Ivy.
believe, but of course,
Ivy.
she didn't grow up here in America.
I'm
Maybe
yours.
she was born here in America, but her parents were immigrants from India.
What?
And what is going on in their country right now? We got a 16-year-old girl who was raped at a wedding. Her attackers were then fined $750, and according to the BBC, ordered to do 100 sit-ups. This is from Jonathan Turley. He said, while most of us are
Ivy.
outraged by such a light punishment,
Ivy.
these guys who
I'm
got fined
yours to
$750
command.
and had to do some sit-ups were so outraged that they beat the parents and then burned the rape
Ivy.
victim alive.
I'm
That's
yours.
India today. So, Nikki,
Do
don't
what
lecture me about your misunderstanding of our history 150 years ago. You always have the problem resides in these village elders who apply religious and cultural values that devalue the lives of the
Ivy.
victims. What is unspeakable
Ivy.
is that these men have
I'm
been raised
yours
to
to
believe that such a
command.
murder is reasonable or understandable or excusable. To look at, you might want to look at the efficacy of Christianity at the very least. We'll be right back with Michael Snyder. Stay with us.
Alpha Power. Here's what you want to know. You want to go to InfoWarsStore.com and read the hundreds and hundreds of five-star third-party reviews on this product. And also remember that when it came out 4 months ago, it sold out in 3 weeks. Because people that know about these type of products looked at the ingredients list and looked at the potency list, and people went crazy. The average male or female enhancement over-the-counter supplement has some real stuff in it. It just has a little bit in it. Because I work with the top 4 formulators in the country, and they say, listen, no one puts as much as you do into these. They said your leading competitors might put $6, $7 in, and you're putting $15, $20, $30, $40, depending on the product, in them. Nobody else does that. Well, we
My poison ivy's control. Stop.
InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWarsStore.com by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Grossman. I'm a partner with the law firm Baker Hostetler
Before they
and
attack us.
InfoWars who
My
lost
poison ivy's
the
control. Stop.
We asked the district court to dismiss Mr. Gilmore's lawsuit, to require Mr. Gilmore to reimburse InfoWars for the expense of responding to his lawsuit, and to sanction Mr. Gilmore for using a federal court to wage a publicity stunt. Now, let me be clear about this. Mr. Gilmore's claims against Alex Jones and InfoWars are legally defective. We are confident that the suit will be thrown out of court. But make no mistake, vexatious lawsuits like this one are dangerous because they seek to chip away at our cherished First Amendment rights. The First Amendment gives all Americans the right to have their say on the day's news. Alex Jones thought it was strange that Mr. Gilmore was popping up in all the media coverage on the events in Charlottesville, with what seemed like the same anti-Trump talking points every time. And that is exactly what Mr. Jones questioned.
Whack these weeds before they attack us. Poison Ivy's control.
A probing question that every cable news analyst, every columnist, and every American who cares about what's going on in this country asks every day. They try to make sense of what they see reported in the news, and then they say what they think. The First Amendment
Whack these weeds before they
I disagree.
fight Poison Ivy's control. Stop.
He says that InfoWars is not what he considers to be responsible journalism, and that it can therefore be suppressed. His lawyers say that the law should distinguish between speech that informs the public and speech that they think misinforms the public. But the point of the First Amendment is that people Gilmore and his lawyers do not get to decide whether their political opponents are allowed to have a voice.
And Poison Ivy is in the Hall of Doom, looking for someone to mulch weeds or take over the world for the plains.
First Amendment rights is just one of the
She just got out of
reasons
work.
Mr. Gilmore's
She
suit
might
has
be able to
been
throw
thrown
a stick.
out. As a matter of principle, no one should be able to drag their political opponents into court as a publicity stunt to harass them for their protected speech. That kind of abuse must have consequences, so that when people like Mr. Gilmore are thinking about filing suit, they think first before they do so. And that's why we're asking the court to find that Mr. Gilmore's lawsuit is what the law calls a strategic lawsuit against public participation. If the court agrees, Mr. Gilmore will be required to reimburse InfoWars for the expense of responding, and will be subject to additional monetary sanctions. Mr. Gilmore brought these consequences on himself. He elected the chance to file a lawsuit instead of exercising his own First Amendment rights to talk back. We can only hope that he will come to understand the wisdom of Justice Brandeis' words, that when it comes to fighting perceived falsehoods and fallacies, the remedy to be applied is more speech, not enforced silence. And with that, I'll turn it back to Alex. Thank you.
You're listening to Real News with David Knight.
Welcome back. I'm David Knight, and in studio with us right now is Michael Snyder. I want to talk to him about the election coming up a week from tomorrow in Idaho. Very important that you get involved, especially we're talking to the people in Idaho, but we're talking about everybody across America. You need to understand who the people are in these primaries, because if you don't get involved at the primaries, you're not going to have a choice when it comes to the general election. You're going to have a choice between two deep state globalist candidates if you don't get involved in the primaries. You probably know about Michael Snyder, the articles that we've published over the years at InfoWarsStore.com. He's also has a couple of blogs at EconomicCollapseBlog.com and TheAmericanDream.com. But right now, focus on MichaelSnyderForCongress.com. That's the important one for the next 8 days to take a look at. Welcome, Michael. Good to have you.
Great to be with you, Dave.
Tell us a little bit about this. It's coming up a week from tomorrow in Idaho, and people have got early voting that can happen right now. They can go out and vote right now.
Oh, they absolutely can. People can vote in my election, in my primary election, today. Now, I'm running for Congress in Idaho's 1st Congressional District, which if you look at Idaho, it's from the very top of the panhandle, all the western counties down to the southern border of the state. So in Idaho, we've got 2 members of Congress and 2 senators. And if you go out to East Idaho, we've got a globalist there who already has the seat in Congress. His name's Mike Simpson. And you know what? no one is running against him in the primary, so the globalist there is going to win by default, because no one even got on the ballot to challenge him, David, which is a real shame. So, and now in my district, all the western counties, I am running against, it's an open seat because Raul Labrador's moved on to run for governor. So 7 people running to replace him. I'm one of the 7, and at this point it's going to come down to between me and this other guy who's a big-time globalist. So if I wasn't running, then the globalists would win by default, and at that point we'd have 2 globalist senators, 2 globalist members of the House of Representatives. Globalists would be running everything in Idaho, and yet it's one of the most highest concentration of patriots in the entire country. This is why people need to get involved, David, because with Donald Trump in the White House, this is our window of opportunity to take our government back. Whether we have 4 years of Trump, 8 years of Trump, if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, and right now there's not enough people running around the country. I was literally pleading and begging with people to run around the country, and we've got some good people running, but not enough. We're certainly not challenging most of the seats or every seat. And if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, then we're going to miss our last best chance to take our country back.
Absolutely. And we have to think, we pointed out, we can say not 4 or 8 years, we've got either 2 or 6 years of President Trump left at the max. And then what do we do after that? We can't put, all of our hopes on one individual. We have to have a broader movement. And the only way that's going to happen is if we get involved and we elect people who are going to support limited government like you are, at the primary level, because otherwise, as you point out, we're just going to have the choice between Tweedledee and Tweedledum in terms of the, well, do you like the R or the D flavor of this? But there's not really going to be any substantive change. I had people contact me from Virginia saying, look at this, the GOP party in Virginia didn't even run enough candidates to even have a mathematical chance of taking the legislature here in this particular case. So just by surrendering to this in many cases, and so I'm glad that you stood up to this, Michael. Congratulations to you. Really do appreciate you standing up, taking this on, and fighting to do something about this. Tell us a little bit about some of the issues that you're running on, because you've got some different issues that a globalist candidate is going to come out with.
Yeah, in fact, let me show you a bit right here. This is my campaign brochure. If you look right inside, it says, abolish the Federal Reserve. Now, since Ron Paul, we heard candidates, sometimes candidates will be like, well, maybe we should audit the Federal Reserve. No, we need to shut the Federal Reserve System down.
You already know it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's at the very core of our long-term economic and financial problems. Literally, the process of creating money creates debt, is designed to create government debt. That's why the size of our national debt has gotten more than 6,000 times larger since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, totally out of control. I also want to abolish the income tax, which is another Ron Paul, InfoWars platform, whatever you want to call it, where the income tax also came in 1913, where they want to take all of our money. Yeah, it was a package deal, and that's how they fund all this government debt, is then by taking our money. It's a way to transfer money from us to the government, and the government to the banks and the wealthy elitists that have control of our money. But that's just the financial system. I also want to go to war with the vaccine industry, the big pharmaceutical companies, even the cell phone companies, when they want to bring in this 5G, bombard us with microwave radiation everywhere. All these things that most of our politicians are too afraid to talk about, never want to get into, don't want to ruffle any feathers. Well, I'm not going to Washington to be a cog in the system. I'm not going there to do what leadership wants to tell me what to do. I'm going there to turn the system completely upside down, because people hate Congress, David.
That's right.
Today, in fact, I just got done with a 2-week tour. I was going all over Idaho's 1st Congressional District, and everywhere I went, I asked people one simple question at the beginning of every meeting we had, and we had 2 or 3 meetings a day. I say, if you approve of the job Congress is doing, do you think Congress is doing a wonderful job? Just go ahead and raise your hand. And you know what? All those meetings for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 meetings a day, not one person raised their hand the entire time.
Yeah, they got congressional approval rates that are typically below 10%. They're in single digits.
Yeah.
And I saw, I think it was either Politico or The Hill, they were saying, look at this, you got Republicans running against Republicans. Republicans control the House and the Senate and the presidency, and you got Republicans who are running against it. Well, you would be one of those guys, because you don't agree with what the establishment, we know that the establishment Republicans, people like Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan, are no different from the Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumers on the big issue. Whether it's the Federal Reserve and the way that we're structured economically, or the military-industrial complex, or the open borders, or if there's no disagreement with that.
Time for all green things to spread their leaves and grow. I will tap directly into the green, the force that joins all plant life, and then my babies will spread across the planet. Join me.
And have been for a very long time, David. And so people need to realize, people are so frustrated with how Congress works. People hate Congress. And so, if, for example, if I go to Congress, what happens is lobbyists come into your office and they sit there and they don't openly bribe you right there. But it's understood. They tell you how you're supposed to vote, how they want you to vote. Then if you do what they want you to do, it's understood. You're going to be invited across the street to some of these big clubs, big places where they hold these receptions. So you're going to get an invitation to a reception if you vote the right way. And you go there and there's magically going to be all these campaign checks there waiting for you because you're going to be rewarded for doing the job that you're supposed to do. So it's a form of legalized bribery, but it goes on all the time. Everyone very well understands how it works. And that's why our members of Congress are far more responsive to the lobbyists and the special interests than they are to us. Because they know whoever raises the most money almost always wins, more than 90% of the time. So money makes the world go around in Washington, D.C. And even in Idaho, where it's a very close race. But now, some Washington, D.C. PACs have come in and are pouring tremendous amounts of money into one of the people out of the 7. They pick their guy. The establishment has picked their guy, pouring tons of money. They're running tons of commercials for him, trying to literally buy this election, but we're not going to let that happen.
That's right. The only time we've seen that not happen was with President Trump. And he was able to transcend it. And so we're hoping, Michael, that you'll be able to transcend this with InfoWars and social media in the same way that President Trump did. But we're going to be right back with Michael Snyder talking about his race for Congress and how the...
Oh, I just saw your comment, man.
And also some of the other great ideas that Michael Snyder has. We'll be right back.
Mike in Arizona, you're on the air worldwide. Go ahead.
Oh, Alex, you can rant any day of the week. Thank you, sir, for doing what you do and being a patriot and doing your best to save America and encouraging us as fellow patriots to do that in our local areas as well. And as a longtime InfoWars listener, I want to say thanks for the awesome brain force, Anthroplex. My girlfriend would like to say thanks for the Anthroplex, too. I use Class 2 Selenium, the super
Damn it, how do you
for you folks who aren't big normal tooth
do it
fans,
again?
Super Blue is awesome. And thank you so much, Alex, for the InfoWars Life products. They are quality. I can't wait to get some more. And thank you so much for doing that for us to keep us healthy.
Absolutely.
Because then we can all, as educated patriots, help our other countrymen and women understand that there's a bigger problems going on. And if we can get our houses in order and be good to each other and ourselves, we can take our country back.
Hi, I'm Billy Weaver. I'm a reporter for InfoWars, and the reason I brought this microphone up here to show you guys is there have been so many times that I've been accosted, spit at, had urine thrown on me by rogue people, especially Antifa groups, radical communist leftist groups, because of the lies and propaganda that the mainstream media spews about InfoWars and Alex Jones. So I get attacked because of these lies, physically attacked. Now, a lot of this lawsuit that's been put against Alex Jones and InfoWars surrounds Charlottesville. I was there in Charlottesville. I was the InfoWars reporter on the ground reporting to you guys what happened. We all know that the mainstream media afterward decided to spin a biased, one-sided storyline that you had a bunch of rogue KKK extremists come and attack a bunch of peaceful protesters out there. What I can tell you is that because I had the ability to live stream and to broadcast on social media, which those broadcasts went viral, I was able to show what exactly actually happened out there in Charlottesville. There was violence on both sides, but I will say the overwhelming majority of the violence was coming from the Antifa, leftist, anti-protesters, the ones protesting people who were out there trying to stand up for protecting a statue. And yes, there were rogue elements on both sides. But one side came with pepper spray, tear gas canisters, ice chests full of water balloons with chemicals and urine and feces in them to throw, and that was depicted and caught through my ability to live stream, broadcast on Facebook, on YouTube, on these social media sites that they want to remove us from. I got the truth out there with Charlottesville. While at the same time, myself and my cameraman especially were pepper sprayed in the face for being InfoWars. I made it clear to both the Antifa and some of the radical elements on the alternative right side that we did not agree with any of their positions. But what I told them was, I do agree with your right to free speech. Both of you guys have a right to be out here and peacefully protest. That didn't stop us from being pepper sprayed and attacked because of the lies and the propaganda that the mainstream media spreads about us in InfoWars. That's why it's so important that we protect free press, guerrilla journalists. All of us out here today who are in this room should understand and know the importance of our ability to go out there and tell the truth when sometimes the moral integrity of mainstream media is lapsed.
Where are you, dude?
You're listening to Real News with David Knight. In a world of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And now, your host, David Knight.
Welcome back. I'm David Knight. We're talking to Michael Snyder, who is engaged in a revolutionary act. He's running for Congress in Idaho and exercising his responsibility and his duty as a citizen to do something. We're just talking about the fact that so few people will get involved and we wind up with no choice at all by the time we get to the general election. It is very important that you pay attention to the primaries in your area, and in Michael's case in Idaho, the primary is a week from tomorrow. So very timely, Michael, for you to come in. Again, you can find his website, michaelsnyderforcongress.com. And let's talk a little bit about it. We were ending up the last segment. You were talking about the pressure to compromise. And I think we really need to underscore that, because that's how we wind up getting people who go to Washington and do exactly the opposite thing. There's so much pressure on them, which is, as you pointed out, the lobbyists are going to come and they're going to say, well, this is what we would like for you to do. And you know that on the other end of that, there's going to be a carrot, okay? And that carrot is going to be money that they're going to give you so that you can get reelected. But that is the fatal compromise. It's a compromise for journalists. It's a compromise for politicians. You always say, well, if I maintain my access by playing the game, then I can do good further down the road. But it never works out that way, because you just keep going from one compromise to the other. And eventually, you wind up totally compromised, don't you?
Yeah, David, it starts right when you get there. In fact, I recently talked to Raul Labrador, who's a current member of Congress from my district, and of course he's moving on to run for governor, but I talked to him. He said when he first got to Washington, he got a letter informing him that he needed to raise $200,000 for the NRCC, the National Republican Congressional Committee, which is a PAC. But that's just the base level. That's just what's expected of new members of Congress. If you want to move up, and they always give you this carrot, hey, you want to move up, you want to be on a good committee, well, it's going to cost you $400,000 a year. Then someday, if you want to be chairperson of a B-level committee, then that's going to cost you $800,000. And someday, if you want to be chairperson of one of these top committees, you see these chair people of the top committees, they've had to raise $1.2 million a year for this NRCC, which is a Republican PAC. And so the whole thing is about money
campaign. It's for the party.
It is.
You pay the party for your appointments.
Yeah, you're proving your loyalty. So everything is about the money, and everything is about getting you to compromise from day one, the moment you get there. But of course, I've taken a pledge in this campaign that I'm not going to play that game, I'm not going to raise that money, I'm not going to make those phone calls, because they expect me to be on the phone 4 hours a day raising that money. So I made a pledge I'm not going to do that. I asked everyone else in this race to make the same pledge. Not a single one would, because they understood how the game's played, and they're all going to go along.
And the only hope that we have of not continuing that game is if we can keep the press open and free, which is what happened with President Trump. The fact that he could get to people on social media directly, the fact that there was an alternative media that would talk to people and get his message out there so it could be heard and debated, and that's why they are so adamant about shutting down alternative media, because once they do that, then it gets back to this closed game of who can raise the most money and so forth, and that's a key thing. One of the other things that concerns me over the weekend is when I see John Kerry conducting foreign policy with Iran directly. This former Secretary of State, who is now no longer Secretary of State, but he thinks he's there. Okay, and all these other people who were part of the previous administration, they all still think that Obama is in power. We got federal judges saying, we got the Homeland Security Secretary wrote a memo, Janet Napolitano, that was called DACA, Deferred Action. And so she took deferred action on the borders and on our immigration laws. Nothing changed, but the federal judges say, well, we're not going to let the current DHS secretary or the current president change any of that stuff. And you've got John McCain conducting his own foreign policy a year ago, going to Syria and talking to the ISIS people. John Kerry talking to the Iranians. I mean, what's going on in Washington, Michael?
Yeah, David, it's absolutely insane because you've got the globalists and they're desperate to maintain control. So they're literally undercutting the president of the United States. I mean, it really is treason, if you will, you know, for John Kerry to do something like this without President Trump's permission, just going over there conducting his own foreign policy as if he had some kind of authority or position to do that. I mean, he's out of a position. He's just a regular citizen, but going over to Iran and conducting his own, and essentially on behalf of the globalists. But the globalists in D.C., people need to understand, a lot of people think we elected Donald Trump, America's been saved. No, America hasn't been saved, because literally in Washington, D.C. today, the globalists are still in control of everything else. Congress, the globalists are in control. That's one of the reasons I'm running for Congress. You look at the court system, globalists are in control. We should talk about the courts in a minute, how we can restore power there. But the federal agencies, because federal agencies are some of the most powerful. In fact, federal agencies today make far more rules, regulations, and law than Congress does. People don't understand that. Globalists are in control of the federal agencies, even the military, because under Barack Obama, he purged most of the good officers, high-level officers that were still there. The military is pretty much dominated by globalists at this point. So globalists control pretty much everything except the White House. And that's why they're desperate to get rid of President Trump. The whole Mueller investigation, huge witch hunt, we can talk about that too. But they want to get rid of Donald Trump, get back control of the White House so they get back control of all of D.C., all of our giant federal government, which is the biggest government mankind has ever seen, the total opposite of the very limited federal government that our founding fathers intended. That's why we need to go to D.C. and restore our constitutional republic, which today, David, is hanging by a thread.
Absolutely. You know, when we look at John Kerry, honestly, I think that they ought to take a look at the Logan Act. This is a guy who is now a private citizen trying to conduct foreign policy as if he was a government official. But going to the fact that this is the biggest government that mankind has ever seen, and William Vini has said it is the most dangerous government we have ever seen because of the surveillance of American citizens. He said we are already far, far worse than the Stasi was because of the technological capability. And so at the center of all this, not only are there's the John Kerrys and the John McCains conducting their own foreign policy, even John Kerry, who's not in office anymore, but of course we have the FBI, the Department of Justice, the intelligence services out there engaged in trying to establish a coup against President Trump. And then over the weekend, we've got Michael Hayden saying, if you're working for the Trump administration, you better think about that because we're going to come after you. It's not only going to be the end of your career, but we're going to start investigating you. I mean, how blatant do they have to be in terms of corruption, in terms of an absolute police state? Beyond the coup, I mean, this is the end result of this surveillance state that we've seen for quite some time. Threatening people in the Trump administration.
It sure is, and this is why I want to shut down the NSA, because unconstitutional spying on Americans, Democrats and Republicans both totally in favor of it. It's violating our constitutional rights, but what you're talking about with the CIA, the NSA, all these intelligence agencies, is the deep state, and they've been propagating themselves literally for decades, for generations, where if you go in and you want to work for the FBI or the NSA, and then you say, well, I'm an Alex Jones listener, well, you're not going to have a shot. You're not going to get hired. They they only look for people that agree with their worldview, that are globalists themselves. So globalists have been, at every layer of those agencies is globalist. That's why they need to be completely cleaned out, because they are literally at war with Donald Trump, because they recognize that Donald Trump hates.
I don't know how to find you, man.
Worldview, but Donald Trump is against the globalists. They're against him, and they're literally in a civil war, a battle for control of this country. And that's what the whole Mueller investigation is about. It's about getting rid of Donald Trump. So at the very beginning, I was like, collusion with Russia? Are you crazy? Why would anyone want to investigate that? No, there's nothing there. Yeah, so, we just had our final debate there in Idaho for all the congressional candidates. I was there right at the center of the stage, and they asked me about it. I said, total witch hunt. Been over a year. They haven't found anything. Mueller needs to be fired, and they need to end this investigation. And then the guy who's going to win, if I don't win, was right next to me. They asked him about it, and you know what he said? He said, I haven't really been following that. And he said it 3 times, not once, David. He said it 3 times, probably because he didn't want to answer, because as a globalist, he knows he's going to go in there and he wants to stab Trump in the back and get rid of him. But he didn't want to come out and tell the voters this, but he's literally surrounded himself with never-Trumpers. He's been funded primarily by a big Washington, D.C. PAC that spent more than $7 million to get rid of Donald Trump, pouring money into his campaign. So, of course, he's going to stab Trump in the back once he gets there, but he doesn't want to admit it to the voters.
We know he's not that clueless. He's just dishonest with people. And as President Trump is saying, this election is going to be, for Congress and for the Senate, it's going to be about his impeachment. That could come from Republicans like his opponent. We'll be right back.
InfoWars Live is launching its newest product. We're really, really proud of it. It's a best source prebiotic fiber. And it's got the very best concentrated fibers from berries and fruits and other compounds that have been known to be the very best for your body, for regularity, and so much more. And it synergistically works with our 50 million live active culture flora line, as well as Mycos DX that targets the yeast, the mold, the funguses in the gut. So this is the time to take advantage of getting this new incredible fiber product and these other products. We get them separate or together and make really, really big savings to get high-quality products at the same time. And I'm doing this to introduce these products to bodies sold out in a month. Strongest concentrated turmeric formula we can come up with. It's sold out for another month and a half. We sold it at 50% off till it's sold out. And I think it's going to be the same way with this fiber. Get yours today, InfoWarsLive.com.
Electrify your day with Secret 12. It's like lightning in a bottle. We all have days in which we just can't seem to perform at the level we'd like to. InfoWars Live Secret 12 is designed to naturally energize your body and mind with 2 great tasting and super high quality forms of vitamin B12. Proper vitamin and nutrient intake is essential to keep your body functioning at optimum levels. The reality is, it's hard to take in the proper amount of vitamins we need each day with our modern diets. Secret 12 by InfoWars Live is an easy way to naturally upgrade your vitamin B12 intake and support your body's natural systems. It pairs 2 forms of vitamin B12 into one explosive formula. Vitamin B12 supports healthy energy levels through red blood cell formation and aiding in the body's natural processes, but it also assists with many other functions of the body. Electrify your mind and body and take your health to the next level. Experience the power of Secret 12 at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
With Alpha Power by InfoWars Life, you can be in charge of your energy again. Alpha Power helps with a large amount of functions for your body to help bring you to the peak of your optimal health. Alpha Power has a 4.8-star rating on InfoWarsStore.com. Listen to all these incredible 5-star reviews from verified buyers. Papa Black Wilson says, whatever's in this is doing something good. I take it daily as I would any other daily vitamin, and it's got me in a state where even the normal day of a few hours sleep, rest easy, and wake up positive, regardless of the amount of sleep I get. And what Alex was hinting at when he first released this product, yeah, the missus surely enjoys it. Frank John says, this stuff is incredible. Wow, this is like taking brain force mixed with super male vitality at the same time. Alpha Power makes me feel well mentally, makes me want to exercise more, and helps me feel a little more confident. After about a week and a half or 2, I started to really feel the huge raise in my male drive. That helps with focus, too, like Brain Force Plus. I've tried about 50 InfoWars Life Health products, and they're always of supreme quality. LJ says, it's been 5 days since my boyfriend began taking Alpha Power. There's definitely been a change, for the better. Without getting too personal, our activity has increased, and that's fine by me. He also says he's got a bit more energy. I hope this lasts. One-Eyed Jack says, Alpha Power. I took Alpha Power for the first time this morning, and after about 15 minutes, I felt so awake and alert and full of energy. I take Super Male and Brain Force as well, but I have to say, this blows them both out of the water. Defeat the Globalists said, more energy at the end of the day. Taking one capsule a day in the AM, and even after being on the go all day, there's no crash at night. I feel exhausted after 8 p.m. Not anymore. Seem to be sleeping better, too. I seem to have upped my water intake as well. I will definitely buy this again. Head to InfoWarsStore.com and experience Alpha Power today. That's InfoWarsStore.com.
You're listening to Real News with David Knight.
Thanks for your help. Keep up the good work.
Welcome back. I'm Dave Snyder. We're talking to Michael Snyder. It's coming down to the wire. He is running for Congress, and as we said before, you need to get involved in your local congressional primary, because if you don't get involved now, you're not going to have a choice when it comes to November. You're going to have two bad choices. Not going to be much of a difference to show up, as Michael was talking about in the debates. His primary opponent there, who has the strongest, is really between the two of them. That guy said, well, I haven't really been paying attention to what's going on with President Trump and Mueller. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You know what's going to happen. You know this guy is leaving his options open. Whoever has the most money on the table, he's going to side up with that guy in terms of impeaching President Trump. I want to wrap up things with Michael Snyder in this segment. We're going to talk about this critical moment that is before all of us, regardless of what congressional district you're in. Real quickly, before we get back to Michael, I want to tell you about the products that we have at InfoWarsStore.com, because that's how we fund this program and keep our independence. We have DNA Force Plus, 50% off. That's a huge savings on DNA Force. Also, we have Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine, 25% off. Bod Ease, 25% off. Super Male Vitality, 50% off, in conjunction with some combo packs. One of them, Super Male Vitality with Alpha Power, the two of those together, 50% off. And finally, we have a 3-month supply of InfoWars Life Select Storable Food. A great way to make sure that you have food in an emergency and to stabilize food prices if we have some kind of shock through the system. You get a 3-month supply right now, and you get an Alexa Pure Pro Gravity Feed water filter, the large one. It's about a $200 value for free with that 3-month supply of food. So you got your food and your water taken care of for a good time there. And that's on sale right now at InfoWarsStore.com. Take a look at the products that we have there. That's how we fund ourselves and stay independent. And of course, Michael's what we were talking about before. If we lose the independence of the media, of course, with Hillary as president, we all expected the types of attacks that we're currently seeing. But even though Hillary didn't get elected president, we're still seeing those attacks coming against alternative media. As you were saying at the very beginning, it's typically about money with politicians. President Trump was able to break that mold because he was able to communicate directly to the people using Twitter and so forth. That is the vernacular, if you will, or the medium of the day, in the same way that FDR was able to go directly to the people with his fireside chats. And so he's been able to take this new technology, whether we've seen politicians who were able to use evolving technology, whether it was a radio or television, now social media, very powerful to engage with that. They're trying to take that tool away from him. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen that much of a pushback from the Trump administration, in the sense that even the guy who's going to be his campaign manager for 2020 is the guy who was his digital campaign manager. I would think that he would see this coming, the threat to not only free speech, but the threat to President Trump himself and his political aspirations in 2020.
Yeah, President Trump, we were just urging you to wake up and see the threat, because social media was so key to the Trump campaign in 2016. It's got to be in 2020. And yet President Trump's engagement on Twitter and Facebook, both down close to 50%, according to Gateway Pundit. So this is a threat to you, President Trump. You need more good people in Washington, President Trump. Just one tweet from you, and I will win my race in Idaho. So we need your help, President Trump. But we're just encouraging everyone to stand up, because without social media, we can't get our message out. And, you know, if we would have got Hillary Clinton in 2016, if we would have got Hillary Clinton, InfoWars would have not have made it through 8 years of Hillary Clinton. We are in a life or death battle for the future of this country. We're in a life or death battle for our republic, which was established by our founding fathers. Generations of Americans have fought and bled and died for liberty, for freedom. If we choose to be the generation that sits back, that doesn't do anything, that doesn't go vote, that doesn't get involved, that doesn't stand up and fight, we could be the generation when America's plane is extinguished, it goes out, InfoWars dies, America dies, the globalists win, and maybe the United States of America will continue to exist in some socialist, globalist utopia form, horrible dystopian nightmare form. But the America that we love, the America that we believe in, will be gone, and will be gone forever if we don't stand up and we don't fight now.
That's right. And the First Amendment is there because it is fundamentally so important. And we see these control structures that get put in place from time to time, like you were talking about before, the Federal Reserve and the income tax put in at the same time. Right now, we are at a situation in history where we had the monopoly, or the oligarchy, if you will, of the mainstream media, like the ABC, CBS, NBC, NPR. That power has been broken by the power of the internet, by the alternative media, by social media. And now what they're trying to do is to take that back with a system of censorship that accuses people of bullying others, and by setting up a new oligarchy of these social media big three that are going to set in judgment of what people have there. And it's not just President Trump, it's the people in Congress, the Republicans in Congress, who are sitting there doing nothing. We've had some of them say, hey, maybe we need to take a look at this, and tell them that they've got to stop this censorship of people. Instead, the government is telling them, oh, you better censor people. It started with China, it started with the UK, but we got people in America saying, we want you to shut down people that fit this profile. So they're busy out there creating algorithms and saying, yeah, we'll do exactly what you say. We don't have anybody on the other side saying, stop the algorithm, stop the censorship, stop deciding what you think people should see and hear.
Yeah, we've got these multi-trillion-dollar corporations, David, which are trying to impose censorship right now. I mean, you got Facebook, these other companies, which created enormous empires by giving everybody a say, but now they say, we want everybody to have a say, except Trump supporters, except patriots, except conservatives. And guys, this is the biggest threat to free speech we've seen in decades.
Because they're threatening the voters' free speech.
They are.
Right? In the past, we didn't really have a voice because we didn't have social media or any way to share information. So they could put blinders over our eyes, blinders over our ears, and we didn't have a voice. When we got social media and the internet, we had a voice, but now they're trying to put blinders over our eyes, over our ears to get on social media, and put a gag in our mouths because we're not going to be allowed to share information with each other.
Oh, absolutely. And this is why InfoWars is so important. Without InfoWars, Donald Trump would not have become president. And without the alternative media, candidates like me are not going to have a chance, because the mainstream media in Idaho is trying to marginalize me. They've been trying to, ignore me. But of course, our numbers have kept surging anyway, thanks to people like you, thanks to the alternative media. And so we're very, very close to winning. But you guys, we have to fight now. And see, in these primaries around the country, general election, 40-50% of voters will show up. But we can have such a big impact in these primaries, David, because here in Idaho, that less than 20% of voters are going to show up. Super low turnout. So that means more than 80% of registered voters are going to stay home. So if we flip that around and 80% of you info warriors go out and vote in Idaho, we only have to get to 30,000 votes to win, because it's a super low turnout scenario. So if all you guys go out there, you vote. I mean, you can literally, after listening to this program, you can go vote this afternoon all over Idaho. It's usually at your local county courthouse where the early voting location is, or if you wait till May 15th, your regular voting location. But go out and vote, because this is our chance to do something at the ballot box. If we don't do something in these 2, 4, 6 years right now and take our government back, we're going to lose this opportunity. It'll be gone forever. The globals are going to win. We'll shut down InfoWars, and then they're coming for you.
That's right. It's a crisis situation, because crisis, again, go back, it was
Doug Casey, who pointed out the Chinese character for crisis was danger plus opportunity. We are sitting at this crux, at this critical moment that is both dangerous and a great opportunity, as you pointed out. And I think what you had to say there about the primaries is very important, Michael, because we try to encourage people to participate in this. The reality is that
no!
You said 80% of the people aren't going to participate. That means that if you get the message and you show up, your voice is magnified because you are participating, because you are paying attention. And so you can have a big impact right now. You can make sure that you've got somebody who is going to support your limited government policies, going to fight against the corruption of the Federal Reserve and the income tax and the deep state bureaucrats that are there as a permanent government. Right now is a time in every one of these races, but also, remember, Michael Snyder is in Idaho, and that's going to be next Tuesday. All across the country, you need to be paying attention to these primaries because this is your biggest opportunity to affect change at the national level and also at the state level. State level is very important as well, but also to send the right kind of congressmen there who are going to stand up for the First Amendment, Second Amendment, stand up for our liberties, because that's really what this is about. Oh, it is. And imagine if Ron Paul had never gone to Congress and people in Texas would say, we're just staying home, we're not going to vote. But we would have lost that Ron Paul revolution. But now we have someone running on the Ron Paul platform. If you go there, if you look at our open materials, you go to MichaelSnyderForCongress.com, and you see, man, who's running on the Ron Paul platform, who's running on the InfoWars platform. You guys know me, 6-7 years, my articles have been constant on InfoWars. You guys know that I believe in the same things that David Knight does, that Alex Jones does, that I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go there and cause all kinds of chaos in Washington, but I have to get there first. And if we don't do this on May 15th, we're going to lose this opportunity forever. But we have an opportunity to send someone to Washington that's going to be InfoWars guys in Washington, that's going to go and fight for liberty and freedom and the things we believe in, but we have to act now. It's very important to get somebody that has a principle that guides them, that has a rudder, that has an anchor. I tell you, Michael Snyder is anchored on individual liberty. MichaelSnyderForCongress.com. Thank you, Michael.
Run for your life!
If you like the coverage of the war, if you're enjoying the night Alex Jones show today, and of course the War Room with my colleague Owen Schroyer, please remember that we are completely listener and viewer supported here at InfoWars, and we face the greatest challenge we have ever faced. If you're a regular listener, you know about the spate of lawsuits that have been filed against InfoWars, every one of them baseless, every one of them meritless, every one of them bogus, but designed to generate negative headlines and enormous legal bills. Then they take those headlines and they use them as the rationale to remove us from the internet, remove us from YouTube, from Facebook, from Google, and so on. The costs are astronomical and they're only rising. Why? Because Alex Jones is a fighter, and he will fight every one of these lawsuits with truth, because the truth in the end will win. But that doesn't mean that it isn't expensive. So we need you to go to the InfoWars store now and look at some of our terrific products. Not only do we have our cutting-edge nutraceuticals, where Alex Jones and his team of scientists take the very best of ancient Chinese medicine in practice for centuries, combining it with cutting-edge new nutraceuticals to bring you formulas that are really effective. Everything that they put forward has been rigorously tested, and if you don't believe it, go to the testimonials where you have literally thousands, in some cases, of satisfied customers. When you go to the site, you're not only helping yourself, as Alex Jones likes to say, it's a 360-degree win. You win, and we win, because Alex Jones pumps money back into InfoWars to pay for our expanded coverage here. So please, folks, do us a favor, do yourself a favor, stand up for the First Amendment, kick George Soros right in the derriere, go to the website now.
You're listening to Real News with David Knight. And now, live from the InfoWars.com studios in Austin, Texas, it's your host, David Knight.
We're talking about the oligarchy of social media, about Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, using their powers to silence your speech
not just our speech. They want to have you see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. It is a censorship that is unlike anything that we have seen before. And we know where this is headed. We can see the social credits and how they're being used to punish people in China. China is the beta test site for the police state that is coming. And I've got some news about what is coming to America in terms of the police state in just a moment. But since we're talking to Michael Snyder, and again, it's very, very important. Cannot say this enough, how important it is for you to be involved in the primaries as they come up. As Michael pointed out, 80% of the people aren't going to be involved in the primaries. So you can multiply your voice at the primaries if you show up in your area. And again, his is coming up a week from tomorrow. But just take a look at how broad this censorship is. It extends, for example, to Amazon. Another one of these multinational globalist billionaires. We have Amazon has barred Christian legal group Alliance Defending Freedom from taking part in their Amazon Smile program. That's a way that you can contribute to charities. So, well, you're not a legitimate charity. No, things like the Southern Poverty Law Center are, however. As a matter of fact, they give the Southern Poverty Law Center the ability to determine which groups are allowed to participate in the Amazon Smile program. And a spokesperson for Amazon could not say whether or not Amazon considers the Southern Poverty Law Center to be an unbiased arbiter of the truth. This is from the Daily Call. Can you imagine that? Oh yeah, we can't really say whether or not they are unbiased. Well, that tells us all we need to know. Openly anti-Semitic organizations remain in Amazon Smile while the ADF, that's the Alliance Defending Freedom, is barred from the program. But if you take a look at what's happening in the UK, for example, we've got Tommy Robinson at hashtag Day for Freedom says, I'm taking Twitter to court to prove facts are now treated as hate. He's been banned by Twitter, been banned by other organizations, and what he had to say was, he said, they manage to silence people. People are afraid to speak up. Because if you speak up, what do? They yell at you and scream, racist, racist, right? And now that term, unfortunately, because we should not destroy that term. There really is real racism out there. And there really are real racists. But what they have done by crying wolf is to totally discredit that. And so he says what they do now is instead of calling you racist, because that is now lost, that is now dead, essentially. What they do is they now say, oh, well, this is hate speech. And he gives an example of this. A 16-year-old boy who went to Speaker's Corner. Now, if you don't know what Speaker's Corner is, every time I've been to England, I always make it a point of going to Speaker's Corner. They're in Hyde Park. Sunday mornings, they have people literally get up on their soapboxes. I think that's probably where that expression came from. They go out there, they just take a box and stand on it. You can stand anywhere you want to in Speaker's Corner. You can say anything you want to. You could, in the past, you could criticize the Queen. You could criticize the government. You could talk anything that you want to talk about. Try to get an audience. And people would gather around you, and they would yell back at you and disagree with you and so forth. It was there. In 2001, the early part of 2001, I could already see that this was coming to an end. I had one guy that was standing up there. He was a Christian.
I don't know how to find this guy, man.
And he had the biggest crowd of anybody that was there, and they were Muslim hecklers. Wanted to shoot him down, angry that he would have anything intolerant of what he had to say. As a matter of fact, as we were standing there listening to him and listening to the interaction and how they were shutting him down, not allowing him to speak because they don't want to have a debate, they had the police start silently gathering around and talking to each other in their microphones, expecting things were going to come to blow. At which point I told my family, all right, this is time for us to move on. But now what is happening is you have the police come to this individual who was debating Muslims in Speaker Corner. They come to his house because they were not happy about the facts that he stated about Islam. They threatened a 16-year-old. So it's gone from a situation where the police were there to protect speech to where the police in the UK are there to threaten free speech, to defend Islam and tolerance. We're back on David Knight.
Years ago, InfoWars Life created the powerful MycoZX formula to help you combat internal yeast. As the years went on and more toxins were pumped into the environment, our team knew we had to create a bigger and better formula to help support your gut health. MycoZX Plus is the result of the search for that formula. Unique natural formula designed to support the body's of yeast and fungal organisms. There's no better product to help your body fight back. MycoZX ZX Plus helps support a healthy microbial balance in the body, supports your digestive tract, and addresses the intestinal yeast that can cause you problems if it goes unchecked. Powered by an impressive list of ingredients, including grapefruit seed extract, Palo D'Arco bark, and grapeseed extract, our formula is fueled by ingredients that stood the test of time as powerful micro-balancing properties. Pick up a bottle of the new and improved Myco ZX Plus today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Dispatch! Emergency!
Found it. It's the real news. Live from the InfoWars.com studios in Austin, Texas, it's your host, David Knight.
GCPD file Knuckles Farrelly, wanted on multiple counts of assault and battery.
Your right and your ability to protect yourself. You know about March for Our Lives? Well, we need to start talking about March for Our Liberty. To protect our lives. And that's really what this debate is about. We had President Trump at the NRA convention this last weekend. I want to play a clip for you from President Trump where he said our rights come from God, not from government. That's what makes them rights. Here's President Trump.
You give your time, your energy, your vote, and your voice to stand strong for those sacred rights given to us by God, including the right to self-defense. And now, thanks to your activism and dedication, you have an administration fighting to protect your Second Amendment, and we will protect the Second.
1199, request assistance!
Your Second Amendment rights are under siege, but they will never, ever,
Man down!
as long as I'm your president.
All right, very important. He said people in this hall have never taken our freedom for granted, ever. We've never stopped fighting for our Constitution, our sacred rights that are given to us by God. And as a matter of fact, we had one of the organizers of the event last week, or last Wednesday, that over 300 schools had students walk out for 15 minutes in silent support for your right to defend yourself, for your liberty. And we had students who went out at hundreds of schools to beg the government to take away their liberty and to take away your liberty. Students who took the opposite standpoint. And the student who organized this, Will Riley, went on with Neil Cavuto on Saturday and had this to say.
As far as how I'm concerned with this issue, it's not about me getting to keep my guns. I don't have any. It's about people's rights. And so I think that's how we need to focus on this. You know, people forget that the right to bear arms is just that, it's a right. It can't be taken away by repealing the Second Amendment. You can only violate the right, you can't take it away.
Absolutely. And he went on to say, to defend the right of 18-year-olds to own a gun, which is something that I wish that we had Republican governors and presidents a little bit more firm on, because this is, anytime you start to infringe upon our basic rights, again,
1199, request assistance!
Nobody was going to come in and with one fell swoop take away confiscated everybody's gun, because people would resist them. They already have. And people would resist them in the future. No, it will be a process, a gradual process.
We'll bring you down!
Gradually moving the fence, if you will, onto your property. Let it set there for a while. So okay, we've established that. For sure, let's move it a little bit further and a little bit further. So death by 1,000 cuts. That's when they're talking about the First Amendment. They said Congress shall make no law restricting freedom of speech and free exercise of religion. Any of those types of things could be done just with a law, but they would have to do it by a process of gradual infringement. And so we look at this. Will Riley, who is absolutely right. The government can violate a right, but they cannot take it away, he said. He defends an 18-year-old right to buy a gun. Which, unfortunately, we got a lot of Republicans who don't want to do that. A lot of people want to compromise on that. He says, if you're someone who is a to own a gun. Absolutely right. Take a look at how this plays out in Massachusetts, for example. Post is very happy about the fact that Massachusetts has the toughest gun law in America. And so they keep fighting! 30-something man who's talking about a rifle in Massachusetts in late September. As if he'd been living in almost any other part of the country, he could have done so easily. His record was free of arrests. He didn't have any involuntary psychiatric commitments. And by the way, folks, this is a major loophole against our rights. I have absolutely no problem with taking away guns from people who are criminally or mentally unstable. Absolutely don't have a problem with that. But they need to have due process. And quite frankly, as we have seen over and over again, if you are mentally unstable to the point of being violently dangerous, simply taking away somebody's gun is not going to solve the problem, is it? Take a look at what's going on, and we're going to take a look at what's going on in other countries, because President Trump brought that up in his speech to the NRA. Whether it's knives, or whether it's acid, or whether it's bombs, or whether it's cars, if somebody is mentally unstable, they don't need to be at large. And so we need to have a reasonable due process. We don't take away the guns and do the due process later. We do the due process, and we have to be very careful that we don't wrongfully commit somebody involuntarily. That is a very dangerous position that is being embraced by the Republicans, embraced by the NRA, because nobody wants to defend an insane person's right to own guns, and it would be insane to do so. We need to make sure that we know who really is insane, because insanity has always been the accusation of tyrants against political opposition. Just take a look at Stalin's Soviet Union and every other piece of tyranny, of modern tyranny. They use psychiatry to take people away, and to do it with very little burden of proof. So there needs to be a very rigid standard of this. They need to have their full due process, to be allowed to confront the charges against them, to call witnesses in their defense, to have an open trial, not to have some kind of ex parte, which means that you don't even participate, you're not even there, you don't even know about it. They decide this in your absence. That is the way that this is going to be used in a very dangerous way. So I absolutely understand and agree with the fact that we don't want mentally insane and mentally dangerous people to have firearms. We don't want those types of people to be loose on the streets. That's the issue. So it shouldn't be about just taking the firearms. But anyway, as I point out, this guy had no arrest record. He had no involuntary psychiatric commitments or anything else. He could have walked into any other gun store anywhere else and filled out a form, walked out with a weapon in less than an hour. Or in some cases, maybe 2 or 3 days if the FBI wants to take their time with him. But he couldn't do that in Massachusetts, and so Huffington Post is very happy about that. Huffington Post is happy about the fact that each applicant must complete a 4-hour gun safety course. Also, it's harder to do that than it is to become a but yeah, you got to prepare for references for people to get a gun. You have to go to the local police department for fingerprinting and a one-on-one interview with a specially designated officer who will put on this area. This is done with called rewriting. This is called a government privilege. They refuse to grant the permits. A right to be infringed, which is not a right. It is a privilege if you need prior permission. And this applies to the entire spectrum of regulatory oversight of the bureaucracy. You no longer have the presumption of innocence. And if we allow this to happen with gun control, we will allow it to happen with parental control as well. There will come a time, and we already have a lot of examples of
I'd better not get put on
some kind of a permission for people. If you want to adopt, you have to convince them that you are innocent. If you want to be a parent, this is something that is creeping and pervasive across a lot of different areas. We have lost the importance of presumption of innocence. precisely because of bureaucratic rules that don't give you due process, that don't give you the ability to have a presumption of innocence at trial or even protection against excessive fines. All of that comes through bureaucratic regulations and rules. And they say, well, it's not a law, so it's not a crime, so you don't get the Bill of Rights. We really have to guard. You must as well as the fight for our liberty. We'll come back.
There's only 1 week left to get 50% off on Super Male Vitality. We only do this special once a year, and it's now 50% off until May 7th. This is your chance to try Super Male Vitality that has thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews at powerreviews.com. The reason Super Male and Super Female are so popular is because they work. We take known, documented herbs that superpower energy, libido, stamina, and then we cold press them so they don't lose their essence. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Male Vitality, Super Female Vitality is now 50% off for a limited time. And if those great get all of those 50% off. And when you get them together, it's free shipping as well. That's Super Male Vitality at 50% off at evilwordslife.com.
Venom is supposed to make me invincible.
253-3139. Super Male Vitality at 50% off until May 7th, 2018.
2016 was the year in which the mainstream media lost their hammerlock, their complete monopoly on political discourse in this country. Donald Trump's election, in fact, the entire sea change in American politics was only made possible through a robust and vibrant alternative media allowed through an unfettered internet. This is not only about the 2016 and 2020 election, it's about the slow motion coup that's going on in this country, where a fabricated dossier can be used to justify legally the illegal surveillance, the unconstitutional surveillance on the Republican candidate for president of the United States. But you see, those who are the perps in that crime don't want any discussion of that part in the mainstream or the alternative media, and that is why they seek through a very, I think, duplicitous strategy of lawfare and censorship to shut us down. The key to this, of course, is the lawsuits, and I'm facing one from an Obama-blessed front called Project Democracy, who are suing me and Donald Trump, the allegation being that we worked with Russians to hack the Democratic National to give them serial documents. That is as unprovable in a court of law as it will be unprovable in the court of public opinion, because it's a fairy tale, a falsehood, a lie, a canard, a steaming plate of, well, you know. The point here, of course, is that if you can silence us, that they can take us off of Facebook, off of Twitter, off of YouTube. It becomes much easier to drive their false narrative about the 2016 election, their false narrative about the unconstitutional activities going on today, whether it is raiding down Trump's lawyer's office or whether it is the illegal surveillance of the Republican candidate for president under FISA warrants that were fabricated in their rationale, fabricated in their purpose. And then, of course, there's the Second Amendment. Silence us before you attempt to take away our Second Amendment rights. This is the struggle. This is the single most important struggle. Why? Because without our voice, all other issues, trade, immigration, the economy, we are at an enormous disadvantage. The story here is that the American left no longer is interested in dialogue or debate. They can't win a debate. They don't want a debate. They don't want a discussion of issues. Their answer when we raise facts and arguments is silence them, censor them, close them down. That's why you know they have lost.
And things that happen across the country in terms
of our struggle to maintain our liberty to defend our lives. That's what we're really talking about. And after we do that, I'm going to lay out the case that John Kerry is the best example of violation of the Logan Act, what he did in terms of going to Iran, trying to save the Iranian field. That's exactly what the Logan Act was written on. And it's never been enforced. But have people say, well, you know, it should be enforced, and we have said it. It should be enforced against the builder group because we privately against the policy of information against the policy of the American government. And you have people who have opposed Trump saying, hey, I think we've got some violations of the Logan Act. Clearly they did not.
Oh, man, make it stop.
Those are not clear cut. This case with John Kerry is exactly what happened with George Logan in 1798. I'm going to give you the parallels to this and tell you why John Kerry should not be prosecuted. For the first person to be prosecuted for the Logan Act, he followed the pattern exactly down to the wire. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's finish up with the NRA, with the Second Amendment. And one of the people who was speaking there was Stephen Wilford, 55, of Sutherland Springs, Texas, the hero who stopped the shooting there at that church. And remember, it was Mark Collins, former pastor at that church that I talked to on that Monday morning following the shooting on Sunday. He broke that news here on this program, even though we had CNN and the rest of the mainstream media saying that the killer was stopped by a man with a
This is Gotham Now, and I'm Vicki Vale, with alarming reports that the steroid-addicted muscle man Bane has returned to Gotham, and that use of his drug, Venom, is spreading. Bane is wanted in over 17 countries on charges ranging from assault to an attempted military coup. Is he back now to once again try to take down the Bat? We'll keep you posted.
He was an NRA member. He was a trained NRA instructor. As soon as he was able to get that magazine loaded, he ran barefoot to confront this guy who we already knew was in full body armor. This is what Stephen Wilford, the hero of the Sutherland Springs, Texas shooting, had to say at the NRA convention this weekend.
My daughter came into the bedroom and she said, Dad, there's men in black tactical gear shooting up the Baptist church. Every one of those shots to me represented one of my neighbors, one of my friends. And I ran as fast as I could. Immediately, he came out of the church shooting at me. He hit the truck in front of me, hit the car behind me, the house behind me. And I hit him. He had an AR-15, but so did I. And it's not the matter of the heart. It's a matter of the heart. I'm not the bravest man in the world or anything, but I was here. I was here, and I could do something.
Absolutely. It is not the weapon. Here, all these people will say, well, only the military should have it. He was never in the military. He learned how to shoot because he was in the NRA, because he trained himself. And it is not the weapon. It doesn't matter whether the weapon is a gun, or whether it is a knife, or whether it is acid, or a bomb, or a car. It matters who the person is. That's what he said. It's about the heart of the person. He had an AR-15, and this hero had an AR-15. I'm glad he did. I'm glad he had the equal weapon.
This is Lucius Fox. Wayne Tech's newest line of chronometers guarantees accurate timekeeping, even in the deepest pressures of space. Wayne Tech, solutions through technology.
He said, we are the people, he told the NRA, Stephen Wilford of Sutherland Springs, said, we're the people that stand between the people that would do evil to our neighbors. I'm nothing special. Look at you guys. Every one of you guys would do what I did, he said to the crowd. The difference is the person. And we pointed this out in terms of the situation in London. You've got people there, in spite of the gun control laws, you've got people who are, they're engaged in drive-by shooting, just like they are in the areas of our country that have the tightest gun control laws. As Trump was there, he saluted the NRA. He said, like Republicans to save gun rights, this is going to be a key issue in the election, folks. A very key issue.
He said the Second Amendment will never be under siege as long as I am president, said President Trump. And repeated his strong support for letting highly trained teachers carry concealed weapons. And then he went on to talk about London and talk about how it is a war zone. Here's President Trump on the knives of London.
This is the police!
It's like a war zone for standing. Yes, that's right. They don't have guns. They have knives. And instead, it is blood. They say they're there as they don't know their
All right, let's hold it right there. It's a heavy echo on that clip there, but what he's saying is they don't have guns, they have knives. And they say it is as bad as a military war zone in the hospital. It's not President Trump who's saying that. For all those people who are going to try to fact check it and say that this is fake news, I have read to you over and over again quotes from the doctors in the hospitals saying it has now become common. That they're seeing this with teenagers on a regular basis. The doctors who said it is like a war zone. And that's not only the knives, but it is also the drive-by shootings that are happening in an area where they are proud of the fact that they have gun control. And President Trump went on to talk about France. He said that fewer people would have died in Paris November 13th, 2015, if Parisians have been allowed to be armed for self-defense. He's absolutely right, but the Daily Mail reports that the French Foreign Minister, Le Drian, responded by expressing firm disapproval of Trump's suggestion that allowing people to be armed for self-defense would have made them safe. Yeah, of course not. Of course not. You can't be allowed to defend yourself. Trump referenced the attack as proof that gun control does not control bad people. He said, Paris, France has the toughest gun laws in the world. Nobody had guns. He talked about how the gun-free status of patrons allowed the attackers to methodically kill at will, and he's absolutely right. He said they took their time, they gunned them down one by one. But if one employee or just one patron had a gun, or if one person in this room had been there with a gun, the terrorists would have fled or been shot. But the French Foreign Minister said, free circulation of weapons in society does not constitute a rampart against terrorist attacks. To the contrary, it can facilitate this type of attack. That is absolutely not true. Terrorists will not have any problem getting guns. There is a vibrant black market where they can get anything they want, including heavy-duty military weapons in Libya. We created that black market for them. We went in there and took out Gaddafi, or they can go any other of a number of places where we've had regime change, or foreign policy has created those types of black markets. It's not a problem for them to get that stuff. It's not a problem for them to bring it into these countries. How did they get these guns? Now, why is it that nobody in France is allowed to even have a shooter to defend themselves? And it doesn't have to be a gun. It's the people. Maybe what they need to have is try to enact some controls at their border so they can keep bad people out. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I'm David Knight.
You know, I've got some talking points here about Caveman from InfoWarsLive.com. But instead of going with those talking points, let me just give you what I've experienced personally. From all the wives' tales in every culture, we know that the bones have the essence, the chicken noodle soup, straight from people who say. Again, in every culture, this has been reported because it works. And there's no way to quantify how strong whack these weeds before they add that is in this is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, whether it's for your joints, whether it's for your arteries and your veins, whether it's for your whack these weeds before they well, a product formula out there, and it's amazing. Find out for yourself today at InfoWarsStore.com what it can do for you and your family. And again, I want to thank you all for your support. You are funding the information war in 2018.
Guaranteeing your food independence is a crucial part of prepping. Between debt crisis, natural disasters, or even simple power outages, having a supply of storable meals is crucial. With InfoWars Life Select storable food, you can make sure you and your family are ready for any emergency. With drinks, snacks, and meals,
in amounts ranging from 72 hours to a full year. There's no better place to look for healthy, easy, and incredible meals, including meals such as traveler stew, home-style potato soup, and a variety of other meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. InfoWars Life Select storable food will help you eat comfortably in a time of need. They even work great for camping. Simply pack a 72-hour kit to go, and you have easy-to-cook and transport food for you and your loved one's trip. Don't be caught surprised by an emergency. Make sure you're stocked up today with all the food you need for an affordable price with InfoWars Life Select storable foods.
Over a year in the making, produced by one of the top organic firms in the country, that if you want proven studies and documentation, I can speak for hours on the files I have here, of what this is proven to do, the ingredients in this. This is the ultimate immune system boost for this time of year, any time of the year. But Immune Wall is incredible. And folks, other formulas that aren't even as good are $70, $80. It's a great deal at $39. Immune Wall, beta-glucans, olive leaf, and so much more. It is concentrated. You need to go read what is in here. The mushroom blend of the most expensive, highest quality mushrooms that just incredibly accelerate. A citrus peel blend. I mean, this is the next level. It's now available, ladies and gentlemen. Immune Wall. I think it's beyond season. Beta-glucan, olive leaf, and more. Immune Wall, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. Audience, radio affiliates, TV affiliates, thank you for your support. But they've cut off the sponsors. They've blocked us advertising on Google. They have filed 13 lawsuits. We've beaten 6. But understand this, I am your soldier. You're my soldier. We're all in this together. And we're fighting hard for American values, what we know works, and what brings liberty and freedom to our children. So I salute you, and I thank you. Whatever you do, the live video links on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Infowars.com/show. Local stations you're listening to, every person you get to tune in to this local radio station is a victory in this war. And when you financially go to InfoWarsStore.com, when you take advantage of the huge sales and the great products for everything in your life, it's about making your life better. The non-GMO heirloom seeds, springtime cheer, the highest quality books, films, Patriot Apparel to spread the word, the very best supplements, water filtration, shortwave radios, emergency radios, tactical gear, body armor, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. Please shop with the good guys.
You're listening to Real News with David Knight. Waging war on corruption. It's David Knight.
In the last segment, I was talking about what President Trump said in terms of our ability to defend ourselves. We had the hero of the Sutherland Springs church shooting who showed up with an AR-15 to stop the bad guy with an AR-15. President Trump talked about what was happening in London as well as in France. And the terrorist attack in Paris, where he said if anybody there was allowed to have weapons, they could have stopped that before they went on and once they found these people had very enough time to murder people one on one. Very easily pushing back on that, but here's the reality, folks. As they're debating whether or not something like this could actually help to defend lives, we have a 70-year-old grandmother showing the French foreign minister just how wrong he is. A 70-year-old grandmother shot an alleged home intruder in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Saturday morning, leaving him hospitalized. This is reported from Daily Caller. Maxine woke up about 4:30 in the morning. 1199, request assistance. She saw a man pounding on her door, trying to break in.
I got this one.
He smashed the window, and he entered her house. Thompson grabbed her handgun and fired a shot at the suspect, according to Fox News. First, I thought I was dreaming. Then I looked out the window outside. I was still hearing the banging and banging, banging. So I yelled at whoever, "Who's that on my front door? Get off my door! Get off my door!" I shot him. He turned around. Man down! When he ran, I ran down the steps behind him and shot him. Some more. Now, she better not confess that. Kill him before he kills me. That was what was going through my mind. she would have been able to fend him off with her bare hands? 70-year-old grandmother against a 45-year-old male who just kicked in the door, broke the glass, and entered? Of course not. It is the equalizer for people who are elderly or for women. And so that's why when you take away our ability to defend ourselves, you are putting the weakest among us at the most vulnerability. She was worried that the suspect could have killed her, she said. And she warned others not to break into people's houses. She said, after everything was over, then I did get a little bit shaky. He could have killed me. Stay the hell out of people's houses. That was her bottom line. And make sure you
heading over to the freight yard
to defend yourself. It is the equalizer. And then there's the case of the billboard that we've seen calling the NRA a terrorist organization. A group to defend not only the NRA, but our God-given rights to protect ourselves, recognized explicitly in the Constitution.
Hands up and weapons down!
Claude Taylor, who is chair of what they call the Bad Doctrine, the election committee, funded a billboard to start a conversation to push back on the other billboards. See, if they were Soros, or if they were the Antifa left, what they would do is they would buy out that other billboard, or they would cover it up. Now, their tactic is to open up a debate using the First Amendment to defend the Second Amendment. The tactics that we've seen as we have protested the genocide of black babies at Planned Parenthood, what did they do? They showed up, and these are people who had
weapons down.
They had been at all these marches in the past with their hammers and sickles defending Marxism and so forth. They showed up with their black signs. It said
1199, request assistance.
They would go there and hold their signs up. My wife was there with my daughter. They would put their signs down. They would go down low. They go low, they go low. They go high, they go high.
Heading over to the freight yard.
What other people say? Censor what other people say. That's the way the left operates today. But these people who are pro-liberty show up to defend their rights, to defend their lives. And they said there's nothing wrong with using the First Amendment to protect the Second Amendment. So they're buying a billboard to go directly underneath this other billboard.
I got this one.
To give another point of view. Let both of them be out there. Again, if it was George Soros, he would have bought that billboard and shut it down. Or would have paid to just put blacks of the bridge. And then we have one of the Parkland kids saying in the same vein, arming teachers is a plot from the NRA. Here's that kid.
The president's suggestion that more guns in school would make students feel safer?
Yeah, I think that's an absolute crazy assumption that would work. I know plenty of teachers who really think that there are many things that we can do to protect our schools rather than putting more guns into them. It's honestly, I think, a plot for the NRA to just sell more guns. We're not helping our teachers and students.
It's a conspiracy theory.
We're putting more fear into them by making schools like prisons.
Okay, so there he is selling his tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. It's a lie by the NRA to arm teachers. No, it's a very effective way of defending people. If you have people who are there, who have been vetted, who have been trained, and they have the ability to defend their lives and the lives of those around them, that is very effective. But to them, it's a conspiracy. Just like we have the conspiracy theorists who have been having their way, the FBI, Department of Justice, the CIA, the NSA, for the last year and a half, 2 years, coming out with President Trump. Yeah, that's a big conspiracy theory as well. We're going to get to that in a moment. When we look at, however, the people that they want to have all the guns, the government, maybe they might want to take a look at it and how this has worked out for some of the people. You know, it wasn't that long ago. These same people who say that they don't want any citizens to have arms were complaining. They were saying, oh, Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, right? They were concerned about the abuse of police power. Now they're not concerned about that anymore. They just want to take away the guns from everybody and turn them over to the government, or turn them over to President Trump. He's the head of the government ultimately. So they want President Trump, the guy that they said is Hitler, to have all the guns. They want the police that they said are shooting them down in the streets, they want them to have all the guns. It's absolutely insane. Now these people need to be maybe committed for some kind of a bipolar mental condition because they don't seem to be able to keep their stories straight. But we do have problems with police raids, and many times they do involve them going to the wrong address and not only scaring people, but sometimes executing people. In this particular case, it didn't turn into an execution, fortunately. But in Chicago, we had an 18-year-old, Stevens, woke up early last Wednesday evening, by Chicago police officers who busted down his bedroom door with their guns drawn. He said he was face down, with officers pointing guns in a police raid, but it was the wrong home. He said, when I heard it come open, there was an officer standing here, and here, he said, pointing to where they were standing. They told me to lay on my stomach and put my hands behind my back. He said he was home with his 15-year-old brother when the officers busted into the home, served a warrant for kidnapping and sexual assault investigation, but they went to the wrong address. The officers were given a key to enter the building by building management, but had the wrong apartment. The teenage brothers did nothing wrong. And again, this underscores why we need to take a look at how our government is interacting with us. Do we want to have no-knock raids in so many different cases? Now, this is a situation of kidnapping. Perhaps that was legitimate to have a no-knock raid and kidnapping, and nobody was killed in that. But when you have situations where they break down for the war on drugs, that is where this is typically happening, and where you have so many cases of people being executed by the police. Another example of police overreach and government overreach. We now have a new ordinance in Allentown, Pennsylvania, where if you
get these cuffs off
old records or old comic books or maybe even antiques, you're going to have to get fingerprinted. Yeah, that's right. They decided, in their wisdom in Allentown, that they were concerned that pawn shops were being used to fence stolen goods. So they said, we're going to enact a law so that all second-hand retailers have to take photographs and collect thumbprints from customers before they purchase or exchange any merchandise. So the result of this is that people who have never been fingerprinted in their lives will be fingerprinted. You'll have people who buy the merchandise. One guy said, look, I trade in merchandise of old record collections and so forth. He goes, if somebody refuses to be fingerprinted, and they have a good reason not to want to do that if they're just selling records to me, and they have really good stuff, they're going to go to another town, or they're going to sell it online. He said, some people have privacy concerns. Where is this information going? Well, I'll tell you where it's going, and I'll tell you where this country is going.
They're trying to freeze her! Fire!
I'll tell you about that. We'll come back to the break.
Let's talk to Victor in Florida. Victor, you're calling. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Alex. First, I just want to mention, if people just go and try the products, they will be ordering all the time. I've ordered several of the products over and over because it's amazing. In particular, Silver Bullet,
I like your style. You don't mess around. Come back anytime, Paisano.
Silver Bullet, and it's like, I'll still feel a little sick, but it won't last as long. And I just ordered the
I like your style. You don't mess around. Come back anytime, Paisano. I like your style. You don't mess around. Come back anytime, Paisano.
The Silver Bullet Coil Silver, it's got thousands of reviews, a 98% review. It is our highest reviewed product because it is from the top lab of the country, discounted by quality coil silver. It's not a silver bullet. That's the closest thing you're going to find to a silver bullet.
Welcome to Big Belly Burger, a Lexicor company. Special today, the Baby Belly Yummy Tummy Meal with a free carton of Smile and Best milk. May I take your order?
Neurological and cognitive function. This is something that I've been noticing that, people who are they're dumbed down. It's easy for the moralist to control. You get on turmeric, like your body's product, and you've got the nootropics and all these other products.
So, the boss sent you, huh?
It takes a couple of months, but all the time, they and they start being able to see with clarity what's happening in the world. Like, you're giving people the information to wake them up and the nutrition to wake them up. I mean, the brain's a physical organ. The brain has to physically and biochemically work before the brain can process the information that you're downloading to people.
Here's my problem.
I'm on it.
I'm already so crazed and focused. This is an incredible time to be alive and have the the bodies just come back in. It's 25% off, and this has a 95%. This is the police level. Bodies do takes a top of the line turmeric product, and there's so much research on turmeric.
I like most of the store because turmeric and curcuminoids have the most universal positive effect on the body and the mind. This is key. You know, inflammation is a systemic problem. And you have inflammation in the brain, they call that something down the road. I can't use disease names here because of the you have inflammation of the cells, they call that something else down the road.
By the way, I've had Dr. Blaylock and other top brain surgeons on, and they say it's inflammation in the brain. That's why you've got Alzheimer's and
that's the brain. Now, our product is an extract. And we've done antibiotic testing on all the turmeric products. We've done over 1,000 science through a lab. Actually, that's mass spec testing. The extract contains all the heavy metals and iron. It has no stay in the root. So the turmeric root has lead in it. So it's not lead.
Well, that's another reason you want to not let
Exactly. So anyway, what I really noticed was that it's this combination that you're providing people the information that you put in. If you're living on junk foods, folks, you're not going to be able to wake up and process the information.
You're listening to Real News with David Knight.
Talking about how Allentown, Pennsylvania decided that they were going to crack down on pawn shops, that they were somehow being used for strictly for theft. And so they decided they're going to look at every resale of any used merchandise. So that includes things like records and comic books and antiques and so forth. Everybody's going to have to get fingerprinted. Everybody's going to have to get ID'd. And let me tell you something. They're going to come up with any kind of rationale to make that happen. They're going to create a database for us. We know how this is going to look. We've already seen it happening in China, and I'm going to tell you how it is going to be rolled out here in the United States. We've already got the big corporations lined up to profit.
Scared yet? You should be, because dead men tell no tales, but alive men can always spill their guts.
Before you go quickly, I want to remind you of broadcast independent. It's what funds this broadcast. And we've got a lot of products right now. They're on special. Got a couple at 25% off Bodies and Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. That will be ending pretty soon. But both of those are 25% off, both Bodies and Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. We have a couple of products that are 50% off. Survival Shield, Super Male Vitality is 50% off. And you can also get it in combo with Alpha Power, the two of those together, 50% off. And DNA Force, one of our premier products, very expensive to produce, but also very important to your health, to your longevity. DNA Force is now 50% off. And finally, we have a 3-month supply of InfoWars Live Select Storable Food. If you get that 3-month supply, of course that food will be storable for up to 25 years. It's made in America, non-GMO, the best packaging you're going to find anywhere. If you get a 3-month supply, you'll get one of the large Alexa Pure gravity feed water filters, the Alexa Pure Pro. You'll get that for free. That's about a $200 value with that 3-month supply of food. So take a look at the products we have at InfoWarsStore.com. We really do appreciate and need your support. All right, I said they were fingerprinting people just for selling antiques in Allentown, Pennsylvania. But folks, that's just the beginning of this. They'll come up with any kind of petty justification for this. Free Thought Project talks about how the public will soon be scanned here in America in real time, as the vendors of police body cameras and breathalyzers are going to soon add facial recognition and a database like they already have in China. And oh, by the way, in the UK as well. But China is ahead of the curve. China has got a database for their billions of citizens. They can identify you by your face, by other biometric indicators, including how you walk. And they can instantly ticket you if they don't like the way you walk across the street. It's one of the examples that they gave. People jaywalking across the street, seeing their picture go up on a electronic display there. You have been fined, and then you will get it in the mail. I mean, this is like Minority Report, isn't it? Just like that. And now we have here in the United States, we said this is coming in the United States, we said that China had been the beta test site for the globalists. Their slave labor, testing their various aspects of population control, and this is one more of them. The largest maker of body cameras in the United States, a company called Axon, announced last week that it has purchased 2 artificial intelligence companies so that they can run this database. I wonder if those intelligence AI companies are Chinese. It is creating an ethics board. Let's put that in quotes, air quotes, an ethics board, for the purpose of preparing to use this technology in its current products. The company's founder told the Washington Post, quote, "It would be both naive and counterproductive to say that law enforcement shouldn't have these new technologies." Yeah, it would be naive to think they aren't going to take them. And they're going to make you pay for your enslavement. Yeah, it'll be there in your taxes. They'll borrow the money from the Chinese and the Saudis. They're going to have these, and I think they're going to need them. We can't have police in the 2020s policing with technologies from the 1990s. That's right. We've got to go full 1984 in the 2020s, don't we? That's what he's talking about. It is full Orwellian surveillance. This guy, this president of this company, his name is Rick Smith, he is nothing but a self-serving prostitute. The military-industrial complex is becoming the police-state complex, or really, as they more accurately point out in this Free Thought Project article here, the prison-industrial complex, because that's what this is ultimately about. Creating violations so they can send you to prison, so they can steal your money, and that sort of thing. There's 42 groups that have written a letter to this company, Axon, pointing out the police-state dangers associated with such a program, calling it categorically unethical to deploy. You don't need a board of ethics to take a look at this. We know that it's unethical. But they're not the only company that's doing this. Of course, there is a vast industry that is set up to make money off of suppressing you. Once we lost the Cold War and they lost that big profit center of the intercontinental ballistic missiles, which they're busy to re-engage. That's why we have the reinvention and restart of the Cold War. But they went into technology to keep you under control. That's a growth market, folks. That's a place to invest your money, except they're going to take it away from you. They're going to continue to take the legal limit down. They're not happy with the breathalyzer limit of 0.08. They want that lower. So they're going to have one bottle or one glass of wine that you'll get the full ramifications of a DUI. And so they ask the Free Thought Project, do Americans have a God-given right of privacy? Are we allowed to keep our DNA, our fingerprints, our biometrics to ourselves, or are we going to have a full-on responding to this? Americans are walking around with their hands in their pockets. No.
Deathstroke.
No, it never happened.
To join the party.
But in the wake of 9/11, they gave themselves the power to salvage their identity. And I'm going to tell you that I do not think that it is said this guy is. In 1798, we had George Logan. He was a state legislator from Pennsylvania. He was the John Adams administration. Negotiations with France. He was private citizen. He was not authorized to conduct foreign policy to what they say legislation. So he's working against the administration. In response to that, they passed a law. Nobody has ever been convicted or charged with the Logan Act. The Democrats are suggesting that the Trump administration should be charged with that. That was wrong. But I'm telling you, this is exactly what it will do. Criminalizes negotiations by an unauthorized person with a foreign government that has a dispute with the United States. Is that a crime? In this case, John Kerry is not authorized to do this. John Kerry is not Secretary of State. We do have a dispute with the Iranians. And his purpose in doing this is to undermine the government's position. This is exactly what the Logan Act is about. And I'm not the only one saying this. You have people who are...
What's this? Nobody kills the bat but me! Call him! Bring him to me! Madman! Adam! You don't deserve to live! Diana. Beaten by a mere man. No. You've lost everything. No. I beat you. Lex Luthor!
Brainiac had returned. For years, he'd been stealing the powers of Earth's protectors, but we were too busy fighting amongst ourselves to see the danger. With you three dead, Brainiac quickly eliminated the remaining heroes. The lucky ones died fighting. Finally, I alone survived. A rat in the walls of the Brainiac construct. I have traveled through time to warn you. This is my past, but your future. And it means the end of humanity, so together, we must change it.
What have you done, Luthor?
Given you a fighting chance.
He's lying. It's some kind of trap. Why should we trust you?
Because if you don't, Earth is doomed. I've stolen Brainiac's exobytes and released them into Earth's atmosphere. They hold the powers stolen from the heroes and villains of my time, and will bestow them on anyone they contact. The exobytes will create a new breed of superhuman to fight Brainiac's invasion. You must teach them to use their new abilities, for they must be on the front line in the coming battle, or my grim future will become your own. Hope I am not too late, for I will not be here to see this new future. My work is not yet done. I must leave this Earth to you. Claim the exobytes and take destiny into your own hands.
Targets identified. Select gender and body type. Select exobyte download type. Select a hero. Select a personality to determine social behavior. Select a mentor as a guidelines for data application. power group from available exabyte data to determine. Select power group from available exabyte data to determine combat role. Select weapon specialty from available data. Select weapon specialty from available data. Display exabyte download summary. Appearance options now available. Modify any category as desired. Accept download when ready. select any specialty from available data. episode successful.
Earth. The center of the multiverse. It will belong to Brainiac. I do not plan an invasion, rather an assimilation. I have identified key junctions in Earth's vast nexus of knowledge. These I will capture and digitize first. Of course, some non-essential information may be captured as well. This will be sorted and purged once the digitizing is complete. Earth's resistance does not concern me. There is no intellect strong enough, or power brutal enough to resist me. Soon this planet and all it contains will be mine. Intriguing. There is an anomaly in Earth's atmosphere. Beginning analysis. These exobytes are my own technology, each one holding unknown stores of digitized power from Earth's future. My harvester ships will simply reclaim the data provided by these exobytes and seal Earth's fate. This is a new obstacle. These humans resist my assimilation. My conversion cannot hold them. Let the humans use their powers. In the end, they too will belong to Brainiac.
Worked. I'm in and you're awake and free. Whew. Okay, I'm Oracle and we are gonna get you off this ship. Look for a doorway out. They broke my hack. The ship knows you're free. Watch out! Get ready. My readings show forces gathering beyond that door.
Contain the human.
Gather reinforcements. I will patrol towards the prisoner bay. Damage detected.
That was an overseer. Let's get you out of their patrol range. Look for a transport tube that crisscross the ship. Use that to keep moving.
All units, the subject has left the main corridors. Search the vessel.
ship is connected to Brainiac. You have to keep moving. Get ready. The ship is sending more security your way.
Motion detected in the hallways. Stop. Human. Minor damage. Damage sustained.
There's a high security nexus up ahead. Get through and use the transport tube.
Delivering shipment of Earth goods.
All units move into position. Contain the human.
Shipment of Earth goods.
Get ready. The ship is sending more security your way. Oh. Uh-oh. These energy readings. Brainiac has a full invasion force stored on this ship. We have to destroy it.
Warning. Human activity detected nearby. Enemy. Systems failing. Damage sustained. Critical damage. Initiate combat. Objective in sight. Systems failing.
Damage to this vessel continues to mount. Destroy the escapee immediately. Position.
The ship's main gun is up ahead. Destroy it, and the ship's external defense network will go down. Then the League can get in and get you out of there.
Do not let the prisoner reach the prime weapon control room. Damage to the power couplings will destabilize the ship.
Do not be foolish, human. You cannot stop the conversion.
You're in the Nexus. Destroy anything connecting the gun to the ship.
Coupling destroyed. Stability at 75%. Stability now at 50%. Stop the prisoner. Only one coupling remains. Do not fail Brainiac.
Yes, the gun is falling. It's smashing into Brainiac's bottle below.
You will submit. This one has failed. Powering down.
Superman, get ready. I'm bringing you in.
Foolish human, you have doomed yourself. You will go down with this ship.
Think again, Brainiac. You can't take out the both of us. And we're not leaving until we shut this ship down. Permanently.
It doesn't take X-ray vision to see you're a good.
Minor cannot follow of Brainiac. Surrender now.
Almost there. Keep fighting. The network doesn't want to let me in.
Look out!
Harvester ship VII-O has been compromised. Deploy my remaining forces to Earth. The ship has been compromised. All units must evacuate.
Nice work. Brainiac wasn't counting on you breaking free and disabling his ship. Now use the teleporter and get yourself back to the city. We've got work to do. nightmare from my past, here to ravage Earth. Our shared might, unable to stop him. But now we have a chance. New heroes, with powers saved from a doomed future. Heroes able to take on all threats. I know today's Lex Luthor. Even the warnings of his own future self cannot stop his mad vendetta. I am Superman. I stand for truth, for justice, and for the future.
Yes, it's done. Superman will finish here. Use the teleporters to escape. Go! Congrats! Now that you're off the ship, I'm Oracle. You've just teleported into the MPD's 3rd Precinct Station, one of the many Justice League safe houses we keep in Gotham and Metropolis. The safe houses are where you'll find contacts for missions, mailboxes, vendors, and the teleporter to the Justice League Watchtower.
This is Superman. I saw how you dealt with Brainiac. I'm asking you to help us with the situation here in Metropolis. With the Brainiac attacks, we need all the help we can get. Gorilla Grodd's army is attacking and devolving humans into apes. We've got to stop them before they overtake Metropolis. We tried to stop Grodd's guerrillas at the Queensland Boardwalk, but they're using tech even Star Labs hasn't seen in action before. See what you can do about shutting this down.
Don't stop! You're hurting me! Please, stop!
Do something.
We tried to stop Grodd's guerrillas at the Queensland Boardwalk, but they're using tech even Star Labs hasn't seen in action before. See what you can do about shutting this down. Those guerrilla troops are trapping civilians with Grodd's devolution devices. Destroy the devices and weaken Grodd's forces.
Pound them for Grodd! Protect the fuel cells. Protect the fuel. It is needed on the front. Command, fuel cells in position. Do not let them destroy the fuel! Devolution fuel cells under it. Devolution fuel cells under attack! Do not let them destroy the fuel! Protect the fuel! It is needed on the front!